Since going to the New Zealand #1 plate, you haven't done a lot of driving. You've had some injury work.
Yeah, we had an accident at Cromwell a few days after we won the New Zealand Champs, and that's probably put me out for about 7 weeks. So I've just recently got back into it and starting to get back into the groove.
Season sort of coming to an end now. Did you sort of miss the seat time? Do you think you need additional seat time?
Yeah, we started a little bit late too, so really this season we haven't done as many meetings as we would have liked.
Let's talk about the next couple of nights here for the Battle of the Stock. Slightly different format to what we used to, what we normally see in an individual or even a team race.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. I'm trying to get my head around it, so yeah, I'm going to have to do a bit of reading and see what the best plan of attack is going to be.
And I guess over 2 nights you've got to do a little bit of thinking as well. You can't really, I suppose you've got to save some powder dry for tomorrow.
The biggest thing is to finish all the races, and tonight you won't be far away from a podium spot.
And just finally, on a personal note, it must be pretty special to have 2 NZ1s in the family.
Yeah, it is. It's been sort of a buzz really, so that's been good.
And who do you rate today as probably the ones you should be watching for?
The whole field. They're all much of a muchness today, and they're very even, and you just got to have everything go your way on tonight. All the machinery's got to be can't let you down or anything like that. So.
And I guess with the one on the side of it, that's going to make you a bit of a target if the push comes to shove.
Yeah, it hasn't so far, but it's going to happen one day, isn't it?
And I guess if you've got a top running Christchurch car, you've got as much chance as any of the other 16 out of towners that are here.
Yeah, the biggest thing in a meeting like this is reliability, and like I said before, you just got to finish one of these races.
The car's a new car, isn't it, this season?
No, my car's probably about 13, 14 years old. Yeah, so it's probably one of the oldest cars in the field, and it's still doing the job. So.
Reliability hasn't been a problem for you in the past?
No, it hasn't. It's just everything's come together this year, and that's where we've had our success.
Well, one of the drivers, that's Simon Joblin, the New Zealand champion, 1NZ. One of the drivers we saw getting towed off the track on the hook at the end of Heat 1 was the man from Nelson, Dale Ewers, and he's with Phil Dark.
Very much, Don. Yeah, well, plenty of carnage after that first heat. And Dale, you're a bit annoyed about what happened out there.
Yeah, no, she was pretty busy, and I got a flat tyre dicing up with Scotty Myers, and that wasn't really the problem. Gearbox pulled all the studs out, and the gearbox started spinning around and taking my legs out. So I was holding on to it, but she was no good. I couldn't race like that.
A couple of the guys were saying that the gearbox is a bit of a weak link in some of these super stocks, isn't it?
That's definitely my weak link, and we thought we'd solved the problem, but totally different problem this time. I've never had this happen to me before, but we'll try and get the next one in before the next race and get out there again, hopefully.
You'll be out there?
Well, I'm not sure yet. The boys are working pretty busy, and we've got 2 or 3 of the problems sorted, and we've got to get that gearbox back in there, hopefully, and then we should get back out there.
I guess you didn't know the stock cars were all about multitasking.
Yeah, well, it's been pretty rushed in here. We've got guys going everywhere, but hopefully we can get it going in time. So, yeah, look forward to getting out there again.
All right, mate, all the best.
No worries, thanks.
Pete, with 2NZ on the car, I guess you're going to be a bit of a target here tonight?
Well, I hope not, but maybe.
But we've seen in the past that you're big enough and strong enough to handle that.
Yeah, I'll be ready for anything out there, I hope.
And you come from a different perspective in the fact that you build these cars as well.
Yep, actually, I've got them about 6 now, so starting to get better and better.
Okay, so let's talk about your super stock here. It seems to me that stock cars, the whole adage of the sport has changed so much. It's now all about speed and racing rather than just big bashes and crashes.
I still got to allow for those big bashes and crashes. We've got to build our cars fast, but still have to handle.
And I guess the other big talking point these days is adjustability.
We've got a block, we've got to run on pace, so definitely looking for adjustability.
And talk about what you can and can't do to the cars?
When building them, well, we've got a big list of rules, obviously, and we've got a weight issue with a minimum and maximum weight, and we've got a limited PC in the engine, so we have to stick to the rules. But yeah, we work around the rules, and we can do anything else we want.
And is it the paramount thing to build them fast or to build them safe?
Safety is the biggest issue, but yeah, we want to go fast, so after safety we do go fast.
Well, you've succeeded in doing it, haven't you? Because, I mean, they run around about 500 odd horsepower now for these fast ones.
Yeah, super stock cars, just 500 horsepower, just a little bit over, so we're getting up there and up there each year, we get a bit more, so hopefully, chasers can keep up.
Do you think in the years to come that they'll change the body shape? We've got the old Ford Y shape here, and it's been around for a long time now.
Oh, it's a much talked subject. Yeah, we've got the Ford Y, but it's probably the best practical body for sitting in and getting away to the back of the car, so until they bring up something else, which we're actually looking at now, without going into it, we might have something new for us in the next couple of years.
And that sort of brings us up to another point, and that's the fact that for people watching stock cars, they'll have seen the traditional shaped car, but they've also seen the tank. Let's go and have a look at Scott Myers' tank. You know a bit about that.
Probably the biggest difference in the tank compared to our space frame section.
And is that for strength and safety or for any other reason?
I don't know actually what it's for. They're probably a little bit softer when you take the big hits, they fold a bit, but there's definitely a lot more work to do.
But they are notoriously strong, aren't they? Stock deals.
And yeah, they do drive out of a hit if they have to.
And are they sort of designed to be a hitter rather than a runner, or are they once again very adjustable?
The tanks of these days are actually getting a bit of speed, but yeah, they are definitely a hitting block car, so it's good to have one in your team.
And they always look appreciably heavier, but are they heavier?
Without saying secrets, yeah, they're definitely heavier. It's hard to get a tank underweight, so I'd say there's a few guys out there with light wheel guards and stuff all weigh in, and then they go back to their heavy tanks, which is a disadvantage in their speed out on the track.
And with a heavy car like that, we're talking about running into a concrete wall at 100 and plus kilometres an hour. I guess some thought's been gone into with the impact for the driver.
Oh, well, that's where the tank's good. The streamer plate steel can fold a bit and take the shot. There's a bit more flex in it, so that sort of acts like a sponge for the driver. And with the same safety stuff we have in our cars, the tanks actually work good for a guy like Scott Myers.
And if you had the preference, would you drive your car or a tank?
I've driven a tank for a season. I don't think I'll be back in one. They're a lot of work and they're not as fast as I want them to be.
And that's the key to you, the speed? That's what you enjoy the most?
I enjoy the speed the most, but I like to have a bit of both, so I need the speed, so yeah, tank's not for me, unfortunately.
You're kind of notorious for hitting if you're not in a position to win. We saw that at the World 240s in Rotorua. Today, I guess, for you, is it about winning?
Oh, no, I'm actually happy to be here. This is my first one down here. Yeah, we'll just take it as it comes. If we get some points in the first one, I might be going for a flag, but there's plenty of guys out there I wouldn't mind put my bumper on, so you never know.
And once again, there's a whole heap of palmy cars here, so I guess it's going to come down to a semi-teams race in the final heat tomorrow.
Yeah, it is a bit of an advantage for us. We haven't got a lot of big cars here. It might come down to a team race, but we have got best peers here, so you never know, and we might have our own race. I mean, after all, it is a battle, so we're going to go there and battle.
And the format being slightly different, I guess you've got a lot to think about, not only about you getting to the front, but you've got to keep an eye on what your peers are doing as well.
Yeah, the format's quite hard to work out, but we've studied it, and we're going to look after our peers and maybe team up as a pair, and there's an individual title as well, so we're going to go for that, and maybe help us team up for the second night. So.
And just finally, do you think when people see you guys rolling through the gate, Palmerston North, oh boy, we're in for a tough time tonight?
Some people will probably think, Palmerston North's not a game, but it is a good place to be. I mean, it's a great track. It's good to be part of the P cars, so I think it's become worth it.
Dan, you've made the long trip down from Rotorua for the Battle of the Stocks. What is it that brings you down here to Woodford Glen?
It's always a meeting down here. It's always a good meeting, and we've been doing it for, I think this is our 10th or 11th year now.
The last time you were here for the hoopla, not such good memories.
No, we didn't have a lot of luck, and we couldn't get the car right. We had it right for one race, and then we changed it, and it altered the whole setup, and it just didn't work.
And how much is that important in this type of racing? As I said to Shane, people watching the stock cars on TV, they'll think, it'll just be bash and crash, but you guys are really racing out there.
We are. We're all very competitive, and yeah, just every little thing helps, and if you're not on the ball, well, you're not there at the end of the race.
And you're able to change the car for the track conditions?
Yeah, you do, but sometimes you get it right and sometimes you get it wrong.
And I guess this one's a little bit different because you've got pairs you pair up with a Christchurch car in the racing. So is it you've got to think a little bit more? There's more opportunity for taking out opposition or whatever through the format of the racing.
Yeah, you still got to go for it yourself and try and get as many points as you can and hope your partner does the same.
And I guess it comes down to that third heat again. You really got to sort of have some friends out there.
Yeah, well, you hope you got some friends, but a lot of the time you haven't.
Who do you rate as your main opposition here?
Oh, with Shane and Wayne Hemi, and yeah, there's a lot of guys from Palmy and a few others from around the country. Dale Avis from Nelson, he's real quick. Yeah, there's lots of them.
So maybe some payback?
Oh, I don't know. We just go out there and have a lot of fun and try and do well.
All right, tell us a little bit about the car. I see it's a Ford.
Yeah, it's got a new block and we broke one a few weeks back at the World 240s in Rotorua and seems to be going good again, and we're trying a new gearbox out also, so we hope that holds together.
I know that's been a bit of a stumbling block for you in the past in the gearbox. I know you had problems here at Rotorua seasons ago.
Yeah, well, we had the old Doug Nash in it, but we're trying this new one out, and we have had a couple of little problems with it, but hopefully we've modified it enough to make it hold on, because I think it'll be a good gearbox once it's sorted out.
So you've got the motor and the trans sorted out. What about the diff in this one? Have you got a quick change in it?
Yeah, we've got a quick change, and they're normally pretty reliable, but you never know. Anything can go wrong on a racetrack.
And people will be astounded to know that what a car like this is worth.
Yeah, lots of money, yeah. Yeah, and they cost a lot to keep running, but yeah, and thanks to the sponsors, especially the New Zealand Welding School and Bruce Nicol Engineering, yeah, it all helps. Sponsors are a big part of the sport, and they help to keep a lot of cars on the track.
And they run to a fairly high edge of performance, so are they reliable?
Yeah, they are. They've got a lot more reliable over the last probably 6-8 years, I think, because we do go to professional race engine builders now, whereas we went just to recondition down the road. We do spend a bit more money, but we get a lot more reliability out of them.
I know a lot of the guys going to the Japanese V8s and Nissans and the Toyotas. I see you're sticking with the Ford.
Yeah, well, I'm a Ford lover, and yeah, probably costs a bit more, but lucky we can afford it. But yeah, it has been really good for the sport, the Toyotas and Nissans. It's let a lot more cars on the track and to be competitive with a lot of us.
You've been around the stock car scene a long, long time. Is it still going in the right direction?
I think it is, as long as they don't let it go any further. Like we try and find new ideas to try and get that extra 100th of a second a lap out, like any motorsport. But long as the handbrake's kept on, and I don't know of any new rules this year coming out to let us go quicker, so we just want to keep it the same.
All right, all the best tonight. Thank you very much.
So there we go. There is the number 1 NZ out there on the track, and behind him the 3 NZ, Simon Joblin and Shane Penn. Just updating that point situation for you. 49 points. We've got, there we go, look down there, you've got a mistake on that, and let me read it to you as it should be, as we forget about that, what's written there, because there are some mistakes amongst that lot. But the leader on 49 points is Dwayne Wright and Malcolm Natai, and then on 48 points we have Wayne Hemi and Murray Gregg. In third equal, Jared Gray and Jason Smith, along with Jacob Brownlees and Stan Hickey. And then with 43 points we've got Annie McCabe, Nick Self, and also on 43 points Kevin Roberts and Mark Osborne. So we can say we've still got 6 teams, Tony, in the mix.
That's right. We need to remember, John, that the fastest cars start off the back now. The guys with the highest points accumulation are going to be on the back of the grid for the start of this heat that's lining up now. And at the front of the grid there's going to be a few gaps, because I've just been handed a revised grid sheet, and apparently the pairing of both 42, that's Kevin Nortman, and 4, Joel Pitcher, both of those cars are out, so their pairing is virtually scratched, so they're going to be on the second row of the grid, so that'll be empty. And the car of Peter Field, 27C, is out as well.
Oh, that's bad luck for Peter.
It's also bad luck for his partner, so that's the number 17, Rick Campbell. And also out is 79, Rodney Hearn, who was partnering 1NZ Simon Joblin. So Simon's got the work to do now if he's going to get some points.
All on his lonesome. Will the opportunity be there for them to restart tomorrow if they weren't able to start tonight?
Oh, for sure. They may well be able to get out for the third heat a little bit later on this evening, and certainly they'd be hoping to repair their cars and get out again tomorrow.
All right, just wanted to clear that they're not out for the night. as we look at the 1NZ car of Simon Joblin. Simon, as we heard in the interview with Phil, had a great New Zealand Nationals down at Dunedin, and then went up to race at Cromwell a few days later, and he got biffed.
He broke his arm and has been out of action for quite a few months. It's a real shame, because if you get the 1NZ on your car, you want to be travelling around the country showing it off, I think, but he didn't have the opportunity to do that.
There's the 3NZ, and that's Shane Penn, who won the Hoopla here on QTV, Channel 110, at the end of January. What a fantastic meeting that was, and this one's shaping up to be more of the same.
And the ironic thing there, John, is that he's at the front of the grid, which means he and his pairing were the lowest point scoring pairing from the first heat.
Of the survivors.
Of the survivors, that's true.
Yeah, he only got, his pairing only managed 13 points so far from the shootout and from the first heat.
So you would have expected Shane to be one of the fastest cars, and in fact he's turned out to have some of the most problems of everyone.
And Shane's mate is Terry Hall in the 36 car.
That's right.
And is the 36 coming out? You don't see him there. There's the 1NZ.
I don't see him there either, and of course they're lining up in pairs, so the fact that the 36 is not alongside the 3NZ at the moment means that maybe Shane is the only one of that pair still running for this heat.
Well, there's the 86 car of Jason Moore coming out. His mate is Dale Evers, and there'll be a gap there.
That's
because
right.
Dale Evers won't be out. So yeah, there are a few gaps now. Now here's the first complete team coming down. It's the 11 Auckland car, and the 11 Auckland car, of course, is Gary Ellis, and Gary's teammate is Nigel Keats in the 47.
We can also see the 62 of Adrian Fitzgerald lining up alongside his partner, the 841 Ricky Bolton there in that shot. They're near the front of the field as well.
Ricky Bolton in a different car tonight. Actually, it's his brother's car, isn't it?
That's right. He usually drives the 861 Superstock. He's saving that for the Auckland Teams Championship in a week or so's time, and driving the 841 belongs to his brother Matt.
So there are a few gaps in that grid where drivers have not been able to come out for the second heat.
I'll tell you, John, wouldn't you have to love your brother to lend him your Superstock, eh?
Yeah. No, I wouldn't trust him. You wreck it, it's yours. That's what my motto is. You can have the keys, but if you wreck it, you fix it.
Well, knowing Ricky Bolton, there's a good chance he'll wreck it, because he races till the wheels fall off, man.
But he was fantastic in the Hoopla. I was very impressed by Ricky's drive in the Hoopla.
He's a gutsy driver. He really pushes his car and himself. He loves his team's racing. He's racing for the Nelson Tigers in Auckland, because he's moved up to Nelson. So he's going to get some teams racing in a few weeks' time.
So the stewards still sorting out those grid positions, making sure that the gaps are filled and you're alongside your teammate, because that is it. You are paired up, and you start alongside your teammate, your pair, in this, the Battle of the Stocks.
So you'd have to favour Shane Penn to win this race, starting off the front, wouldn't you, John?
Well, he's got that 17 car from Wanganui behind him.
That's Rick Campbell.
And Rick, that's an interesting car as we look at the starter there. And let's have a look at that graphic and just remind you of the points just before we get them all sorted out. There we are, we've got it sorted out. Look down halfway down the page, and you've got Myers and Keats. It says there they've got 49. We don't have them on 49, but never mind. There we go. Most of those are correct, so that'll give you an update of what the point situation is. And at the bottom there you can see Wayne Hemme and Murray Gregg with 45. I was handed a piece of paper, it said they had 47. Who knows? And let's get it sorted out anyway.
So the final car's just getting into position there, as Andy McCabe was having a bit of difficulty manoeuvring into his grid slot just in front of Kevin Roberts on the Super Tanker.
So ready for a start, the red flag is up, the steward has seen them all, he's got the red flag up, he's ready to go. Let's stand by. Shane Penn has the pole, and will Shane Penn be the first to the first? Oh, there's damage and carnage in behind them as Shane Penn heads off into turn number 4. And down the back straight there's Ricky Bolton, and in behind him the 2NZ car of Peter Rees coming through, Scott Meyer in the tank. Also appearing Emerson Leach in the yellow and white car. They gingerly pick their way through the northern bend. Campbell is up there as well. As they went across the line, it was Penn, Joblin, Moore, Campbell, Rees, Myers and Bolton.
Big number of cars went off into the infield there on that very first turn, and 3 of them, Christchurch cars, have only just rejoined.
And the 29 car, you'll see that has already decided he's had enough, and he's parked up as well, right out the front. Now this could be shaping as a battle between 3NZ and 1NZ. The first two in this heat, Penn and Joblin.
And 2NZ is in third place there, so you've got the top 3 cars in the country battling it out for the top 3 spots in this race, John.
Oh boy, we could be in for a great finish here. There's Shane Penn in behind him. We've got the New Zealand champion, Simon Joblin, in that 10-year-old Fletcher Steel car. Third place.
There's Malcolm Nartai moving up, pushing Peter Bengston around.
Oh, he hit him on the wrong side. He gets a tag from somebody else coming through behind him, Nartai. Bengston, though, recovers and takes the spot that Nartai held. And remember, Nartai was leading in the points. So at the front, we've got a lap car in there. Is there going to be any team tactics from them? No. Bengston was in the wall again. No, that was the 96 car. He's in a bird brother.
Jared Gray there having a bit of difficulty getting the car going in a straight line. 47 car of Nigel Keats just pulling back onto the track.
There's our leader, Shane Penn, and he's getting away slightly from Simon Joblin, and Joblin is having trouble with traffic, and Shane Penn seems to be handling it better. Scott Myers in the tank there.
Under pressure from Andy McCabe, both contracted to Palmerston North, so I don't think you'll find one will spin the other out.
That's Wayne Hemme. Wayne Hemme stopped and reversing. We could have a red light situation. We've got someone stopped in the middle of 1 and 2.
That is Kevin Roberts stopped there.
There, Kevin Roberts in one of the tanks. And there's Shane Penn getting turned around. And there goes the 1NZ underneath him to take the lead.
And Peter Rees as well.
2. So Joblin, let's see as they go across the line. Joblin, Rees, Penn, Campbell, and then Scott Myers. That's your top 5.
I think that was Gary Ellis who turned Penn around there.
Well, Shane Penn, he's got to get back onto it, doesn't he? He's back into third place. He's 3NZ. And hello, Malcolm Nartai stopped, and the 62 car is steaming. Penn away, and he's trying to chase down the leader. The leader is the 1NZ car, that black car with the Fletcher Steel wing on its roof. There's Stan Hickey in the 515. Where's Stan running at the moment?
He's running
down the field, 7th place.
But he's moving up. He's been putting in some very quick laps. He's been leaning on the other cars to get past them.
So we look at Penn as he heads down. This is a 12-lapper. There's Wayne Hemme just going through shot. He's got Osborne behind him. That's his teammate. No, he's not his teammate. I beg your pardon. There's a few of them stopped around the track, Tony T.
That's right. We've got Malcolm Nartai stuck in the turn 2 wall, and someone, it's the 62 car, the Adrian Fitzgerald car, stuck in the turn 4 wall.
So the 2NZ car of Peter Rees is running in 2nd place. Here's the white flag for Joblin. There's Joblin in the lead now, and he's got the 11 behind him. The 11 could cause him a few problems there if he gives him a tip, but he gets away from him. So our New Zealand champion, the 1NZ car, Simon Joblin's going to win heat number 2, and this is going to shuffle the points all around the place. Across the line, second, Peter Rees, then Shane Penn, then the 17V car of, Stan Hickey gets up to 4th place, then the 17V of Campbell, then Bengston, Scotty Myers, Andy McCabe, Mark Osborne, Jason Smith, Dane Wright, Emerson Leach, Jared Gray, Bolton, Ellis and Brownlees. That's your top 16 as they cross the line. There are still others finishing as we're talking.
Well, it was certainly an advantage to start off the front of that pack, wasn't it, with Penn and Joblin near the front there, picking up some good places, Rick Campbell as well. But gosh, my driver of that race, John, was Stan Hickey. He started very midfield, finished in 4th place. He's put in the fastest lap of that race. He really was flying.
What was his fastest lap?
A 19.4.
Geez, they're picking it up. It's getting faster, the track.
Just fractionally faster than Joblin.
So Simon Joblin is your race winner, and the 62 car has decided it's going to have a spell in the pits, I would say.
Yes, a bit more repair work done by Adrian and the crew there, I think. Joblin goes round for his victory lap. He's had a 2nd in the Battle of the Stocks and a 3rd in the Battle of the Stocks. He'd dearly love to win it, I know. He's raced this event for the last 4 or 5 years. Loves coming down here to the Woodford Glen track.
Let's confirm those results as we see Simon Joblin roll around. There it is. Joblin, Rees, Penn, Hickey. It's the out-of-towners, Pete, Tony, the out-of-towners. Campbell from Wanganui next, then Bengston from Ekatahuna races out of the Palmerston North track. Scotty Myers, another one from up north. Annie McCabe, another one. Where's the first Christchurch driver?
Mark Osborne,
Mark Osborne
place.
at ninth place, and then Jason Smith. Well, the Masters coming down from Palmy and showing the local boys how it's done. Adrian Fitzgerald is on the tractor out in the track in front of us. There he is. We spoke to him. Phil Dark spoke to him in the pits before, and he said he had all sorts of drama and thought he'd have it ready. Well, he did, but not quite the way he expected to finish.
I think drama might be his middle name tonight, John.
Well, he's getting out there and he's having a go. That's what it's all about. So we've seen
right.
heat number 2. As I said,
It's great for these guys too, John, to be able to race with these top competitors from the North Island. I mean, these are local racers who don't travel a lot, they don't have the budget that some of these guys have, and the chance to race with them on the same track and up against them is just fantastic for them.
well, we're standing by to go down to the pits and Phil Dark to talk to our race winner, Simon Joblin.
Well, we talked about it, didn't we? It was going to be a battle of attrition. The first heat was really to get the position sorted out. You saw there Wayne Hemi starting from the back of the field. He had some real problems. Malcolm Nartai leading the points, didn't get to finish heat number 2. The car beside me, though, did, and that's Simon Joblin. And as soon as Simon climbs out, we're going to have a chat to him. He might just be sneaking up on this thing. There he is. He is the New Zealand champion. Simon just unbuckling the helmet. And as John told you, he hasn't done a lot of racing. He's had a shoulder injury, but he's back into it now. Simon, describe that one for us.
Oh no, it was a good race. Everything went well, and just unlucky for Shane. He got tangled up there, and when he was leading the race, so we managed to make the most of it and get through.
You mentioned before that it's all about finishing, but I guess too it's all about staying out of trouble.
To finish, you got to stay out of trouble, and you got to have reliable machinery. And we've got that.
You've got that. The car's good. No changes now between hit this and heat 3.
No, I think we'll just give it a tight out, just check nuts and bolts, and we'll be out for heat 3. So,
all right, mate. All the best with heat 3.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, one of the men that is having all sorts of problems tonight is Peter Field, and well, remember we recorded this interview with him before the meeting. Peter Field with Phil Dark.
Pete, we know that you know Woodford Dean. You've been racing here over 30 years, but what is it that's so special about this track?
Oh, it's just unique with the tight bend going around the tight corner there in turns 3 and 4. There's no other track like it, and it's good.
And does it help to be a local? Is the hometown advantage?
Not really, because most of the Wyland guys have been here before. They've seen it. They've raced down here. It's no advantage, but you're going a lot tighter. You can go a lot quicker because they do forget now and again. Not too often though.
So with that tight turn through 3 and 4, is it better to be on the outside or the inside?
It varies. If you're on the inside, you get pushed out wide. About midfield normally is pretty good. You get round it. The car's handling light, you go around about middle of the track and you stay there and you're pretty good. If it's wet, you go straight to the wall and you bounce off the wall a few times.
Battle of the Stocks here at Woodford Dean, it has a unique format, doesn't it? Something that we don't see in too many other stock car races right throughout New Zealand.
No, I've never seen it before. It's one of the best formats I've raced with, and it's pretty good. And the new format this year, it should be even better, I think.
And with the shootouts, you're going to have to sort of keep your wits about you, to know who to nail and who not to nail.
Yeah, it's the name of the game. I suppose the shootouts, I suppose the first one's not really much because that's just determining your grid draw, but certainly the last one tonight, when the other partner goes out, it was a thing you can go and take the other guys out who are in that last shootout. It should be a bit of fun.
But I guess you've got plenty to do. Like each lap, you're pretty busy, so can you keep that stored in the memory banks? I've got to watch out for number 32. I've got to watch out for 16. I've got to take him out.
No, it's very, very hard. You're racing around that track. There's so many cars. You get to know some of them you don't, unfortunately. And you just go out and just do whatever you can do.
And what would it mean for you to win this?
Heaps. I've had a pretty bad year this year so far, and things have let me down. And we're just trying to get the car right now. And I'd love to win it. I've come third once, and that was a big buzz. And this year, I'd just like to win it.
I know you're eyeing up those trophies before.
Oh yes, I like the big one. It looked good beside my fire at home, but see what happens.
So is it going to take an element of luck? I guess all stock car racing, there's an element of luck to win this thing.
Yeah, you got to get your partner's got to also, whoever your partner's got to be, they've also got to do well on their races. You got to keep finishing, and that's what really counts. Once you go out and finish, it doesn't matter where you finish, as long as you finish.
Is it important who you partnered with? Like, if you had your druthers, who would you like to be partnered with?
Oh, no. It used to be like some of the bigger motors, and all that. It's good to have a good powerful motor for a partner, like Wayne Heavy, Stan Hickey and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they can break down as well. So I think it doesn't really matter who you partner with, as long as you both finish every race.
Well, let's talk about that, because there's an added responsibility that because you are partnered, that you really need to finish.
Yeah, that's right. As long as you keep finishing, never go across that finish line. If something happens to your car, as long as you can cross that finish line, that's all that matters. Then you've got to pull off a couple of laps or so. As long as you finish, that's the big thing.
And that's slightly different to what we normally see, and normally it's get to the front, win at all costs.
Yeah, that is right. You hope your other partner will win, but you don't know who that is. But then again, just as long as you finish, that's all that matters.
So will there be sort of team tactics? Will you talk to your partnered driver? Or?
Yeah, I'll talk to him and just see what's going to happen. But normally every other year, go out and just run normally. There's not that many big hits going in this meeting, because there's just seems to be the prize money is always up the top of the line, and you just go out and just have a bit of fun and just see what happens. If it happens, it happens.
And the other difference here is that, like in the heats especially, the fastest are going to be starting off the back.
Yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. You don't really want to be the top places all the time, where you're going to be near the back, but then again it's going to also make people work, because you've got to be the top one. And like the last shootout tonight, that's going to count for your last heat tomorrow night.
Let's go down to the pits now. Phil Dark, I believe you are with Shane Penn.
That's right, John. Well, they say in motor racing you make your own luck, and Shane Penn's tasted good and bad luck. Good because he won the hoopla here about a month ago. Bad because you were leading that race, Shane, and you got tangled up with Gary Ellis.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. I probably wasn't aggressive enough, Phil. I should be using my front bumper a little bit more and pushing these guys the other way, but hey, it's just one of those things. The track's a little bit damp, and I got tangled up on the inside, and that was it. Once we hit the water or the wet stuff, it was all over.
And doubly bad luck because your Christchurch pairing, Terry Hall, also a non-finisher.
Yeah, but unfortunately he blew a gearbox in the first race, changed it for the next race, and put too long a bolts in his gearbox and couldn't select gear, so he had to rip it out again. So yeah, we're pretty much out of the event, really. It's just a case now of going out there and doing the best we can, finish as hard as we can, and start using the bumper.
And are we going to see the famed Palmerston North teams racing come heat number 5 and 6 tomorrow?
Oh, I don't know. It's a bit more of an individual thing, this meeting, so it may happen. Yeah, we'll definitely help the boys out if we need to, so we'll see what happens.
It'd probably be good to pay them back. They've helped you out all throughout the season, really. That the team works well.
Yeah, dead right. I mean, it's a good bunch of guys, and Palmerston North guys, they always stick together, always have, always will, and one of us will win it, hopefully.
I guess there's a bit of a silver lining, because it means you won't start off the back in this next one.
No, that's quite a good idea, actually. I might be up midfield now, so we'll see how we get on.
All right, mate, all the best.
Thank you.
So there we go. That's Shane Penn in the pits there. And, he doesn't have that much work to do, but he's still got to get that car ready and get it back out there, because he is trailing now a little bit more in the pits, because as he pointed out, it hurt his teammate as well.
I like the sound of that, John. Shane Penn says he's going to use the front bumper more. That sounds really good to me.
Well, he said he wasn't aggressive enough in that one, so oh boy, we could be in for some fireworks when we come out for heat number 3. Remember, we've got the third heat coming up, and then after the third heat we have the shootout. Now the shootout, the finishing order there, will determine the starting grid order for the final heat. That's heat number 6 tomorrow night here live at Woodford Glen. And so have you survived? Have you got is your team there? And of course, if your teammate who ran the first heat is coming out, the first shootout is having to come out and do it again, you're only going to pick up 16 points if you win it. Whereas if you're the driver you nominated starts, you get the 32 points. As we go back down to the pits, and Mr. Speedway Phil Dark is with another Mr. Speedway, Stan Hickey.
Thanks very much, John. We talk about the fact you can have good and bad luck. Well, Stan's experienced both here at Woodford Glen. Had a big crash at the hoopla, but now, Stan, you look like you're starting to show out here. 2 good finishes, 2 good heats for you.
Yeah, no, the car's going well. We've got it hooked up pretty good, and it's had a fairly good run out there.
And your peers doing the job as well?
Yeah, no, he's going well. It's his first year driving, and we've just told him to go out and do his best and finish every race. And if you can do that, you're up on points.
Does it make it harder for you that you've got to realise that the pair's got to be there as well?
Oh, not really. You sort of, when you're out there, you don't worry about your partner at all because you've just got to do your own thing, and I hope he's doing his own thing and trying to get some points.
Looked like the drive of the heat in that second one. You started mid-pack and came through and got a second.
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, and then the last race, I think off the back, I think I ended up fourth. I'm not sure, but yeah, no, it was good.
So what's the secret? Why can you do it, and why can't the likes of Wayne Hemmy and co do it?
Well, there's a lot of luck in it. There's the traffic when you get there, and you just got to drive hard, and the car is going well. We didn't have it right at the hoopla, but we seem to have got it right here.
So where will you start in the third heat?
Oh, it'll be off the back again, but yeah, and then we've got the shootout, so hopefully we can do well on that.
And I guess it comes down to what you can do. Shane said he's going to drive a bit on the brakes a little bit more and maybe use his bumper. Is that the sort of tactics that you'll be employing?
I don't know. I'll just go out there and race, and just race hard.
The track's changed a little bit throughout the night. You've been keeping a pace with it, with the car, making adjustments?
Yeah, the track has actually dried out quite a bit, and yeah, it's still a bit boggy coming out of one corner, but I'm glad we didn't change the gears because it's dead right now.
Well, that's right. You talked about that earlier, didn't you? You thought you were going to make a gearing change.
Yeah, we did. It was on the rev limiter in the first race, most down the straight, but we did decide to leave it, and now it's just coming on at the end of the straight, so it's working well.
All right, we wish you all the best with heat number 3.
Thank you very much.
Stan Hickey, the man, Mr. Speedway in Rotorua, and him and his wife, legends in the sport for what they've done there at the Paradise Valley. Well, one of the drivers that's been out in the started in the shootout is a man from Ekatahuna, and that is Peter Bengston.
Pete, I think the last time I saw you was probably World 240s at Rotorua. A lot of travelling involved in the superstock racing these days.
Yeah, no, it's been good. We're getting around countryside this year. It's good, having a lot of fun. Yeah.
Season's been going well?
Yeah, we can't complain. A couple of weekends ago we were at Rotorua and come second in Barfini Champs, so no, we're doing quite well this year, and yeah, it's good.
And of course, running with the Palmerston North boys is a bit of a reputation to sort of uphold, I suppose.
Oh, it is, yeah, no. We all work pretty well together, and that's how we get all these champs coming home to Palmy, eh? It works well, and no, good bunch of guys in Palmy, so it's good, yeah.
A bit of a different mindset here. Like over the weekend, it's probably not going to be too much teams racing, or who knows when it comes to the final heat. I mean, we've seen that plenty of times before in single championship. But what is it that brings you to the Battle of the Stock?
Oh, just good venue. The atmosphere's good here, and good bunch of people, and different people as well. You know, from up home, you get used to the same ones travelling here. It's a different bunch, and it's good, yeah.
And the fans are pretty rabid here. I know they take a fair bit of beating at Palmy, but mate, they get into it down here.
Yeah, they're blooming good, eh? And it makes the best come out of the drivers as well, with the people cheering and that. It's good, yeah.
What amazes me about these cars is when you guys turn up, they're always immaculate. I mean, there's not a finger mark on it. It's polished. It's ready to go.
Yeah. No, we spend a few hours on it, eh? And a lot of guys do. All the top guys, they spend a lot of hours on them. You might be getting 40, 50 hours a week onto them, and you want them looking good. You've got a lot of money tied up in them, and you want them good, eh?
Well, tell us a little bit about the car. Tell us about the engine.
The old Nissan there it's a pretty good engine. Around about 500 horsepower. It's pretty reliable. A bit better than the Toyotas. I think I've raced Toyota before, but Nissan's just that little bit better and a little bit quicker.
And it seems to be that the Japanese is the way to go. A lot of the top running cars using either Toyotas or Nissan.
Toyota and Nissan, just half the cost of a Chev or a Ford, and that's how come we're getting better competitors, better cars on the pace now, because a few years ago there was only 6 or 7 good cars, and now we're getting 30, 40 good cars around the country, and just the cost is real good, yeah.
You mentioned the fact that you're running around about 500 horsepower. Is that pretty much what everyone on the top's running?
Yeah, everyone's running around the 450 to 500. I don't know anyone over it really, but it's enough. We don't need any more for do. Hey, it goes well when you hook up, yeah.
And is that sort of reliable, or is that sort of running the engine on the ragged edge?
Oh, it's getting to the top end, I think, hey, with the revs, what you're pulling, probably 8,500, 9,000 revs. It's a lot of revs, and yeah, it's on the max.
I found to the other guys, the whole sort of rationale of stock car racing's changed so much now. You guys really race, don't you? I mean, you go around these tracks in real quick time.
Yeah, probably 3-4 seconds quicker than a few years ago. Every year we seem to gain another second from somewhere, but we don't know where from. But no, probably the promoters are getting tracks better and making a big difference, eh?
And sophistication in the suspension setup as well. I mean, the beam axle seems to be long gone for a lot of cars.
Yeah, no, it's changing, eh? And the full-length back suspension and the floating brakes and that type of stuff. So we're going quicker into the corners, and that's just hugely, sometimes it scares you.
Well, let's talk about that, because does it make the hits harder?
Yeah, especially if you, it makes it interesting, eh? It's like Rotorua and especially here, you're going so quick and you just got to have so much trust in that guy behind you because they can pick you up and send you off the corner very, super fast if they pick you up, eh? So the brakes work well, but you do have to have trust in other drivers to get into that corner.
We got a few other Palmy cars down here, so maybe if you get through to the final and you're in a good spot, you're going to have some help. Who do you rate as your main rivals today?
Oh, there's too many good cars here. There's just, everyone's good, yeah. There's probably 25 good cars here, so yeah.
And the way the format comes, I guess it's all about getting through the shootout and then the heat.
Yeah, no, it's different. It's going to be interesting how it all works, eh? Like, we haven't had a race like this before, so it's going to be very interesting, yeah. It'll make a difference for us, yeah.
All right, all the best in the first one.
All right, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Peter Bengston, what a nice young fella he is too. They travel a lot with the family. They've got a big old bus. They load the super stock into the back, and the whole family, all in that green polo tops, jump in and go racing. Well, another man who does a lot of travelling is a man from Nelson. He's got a Toyota V8 in his home-built chassis. He was 9th in the New Zealand Champs a few years ago, and he's still up there battling in the top echelon. He's with Phil Dark now. It's Jared Gray.
Thanks very much, John. Yes, the man from Nelson, doing a good job too with Jason Smith. You guys are putting on a bit of a show out there.
Yeah, no, the car's going good. We're teaming up pretty good. The track surface is nice, so we can't complain about it. Yeah, no, we've aim of the game was to just keep finishing racing, or as high as possible, and we're doing that pretty well. So no, we've been pretty wrapped with it, and yeah, just keep on doing that for the rest of the night and tomorrow night, and we'll be happy with it.
It's a little bit of an unusual setup, isn't it? Do you like the format of racing?
Yeah, I do. It just keeps it a bit more interesting. The crowd likes it, and the Battle of the Stocks is one of the best meetings you can go to for the South Island, so it's a really good, nice meeting.
And I guess if you travel a fair bit to race your stock car, it's probably nice to team up with a South Islander, a fellow South Islander.
Yeah, well, it is. Like, we do travel a lot. You try and go to all the big meetings you possibly can to get as much experience, and it is good to come into a track like this and you get to team up with another South Islander. And you get to meet new people as well, people you haven't talked to before or anything like that, so that's nice.
We know that in all the speedway events the track changes right throughout the night. It was pretty wet and boggy in heat number 1, and Shane Penn was saying to me it was quite slippery in the last one. Are you finding that?
Yeah, I actually quite like the track surface here, I always have, and with the way the track is, my car really goes good, so it'll be actually really nice if it stays like this for the rest of the 2 nights, and I'll be happy with it, yeah.
And I guess a big important question, where do you start in the third heat?
I actually haven't looked at the points yet, but I think we're starting near about 5th from the back, I think, from what I've been told.
Well, we've heard that there's a few out already, but there's still, 12 laps, 32 cars. You're going to be pretty busy out there.
Oh, yeah, it's always busy. It's actually quite nice to start off the back or near the back because you get a bit of a chance to get away from all the carnage that's happening out there. And yeah, no, so it's always a nice thing.
And have you worked out who you've got to watch out for? And at the same time, do you sort of keep an eye on what Jason's doing?
I always keep an eye on what Jason's doing, if he's in front of me or behind me and how we are going. I'm always looking around. Tonight and a part of tomorrow night is sort of just clean racing. You're just trying to get as much points. The last race is the one. You've got to look out who's more points or who's less points, and just got to keep clean and making sure they can't take you out, and just keep trying to finish races.
I guess that's stock car racing, is it? We see it so many times. You go through the heat 1 and 2 and you show your head above the surface sort of thing, and then you're going to be a target in the final one.
Oh yeah, it's always the thing. Like, you make a bit of a name for yourself, or you get a good couple of points, your heart starts beeping flat out before the next one, because you never know what's going to happen.
All right, Jared, all the best with heat 3. You get a bit of car preparation to do. Wish you all the best.
Yeah, no, it's all go, so it's not too bad. Good stuff. Alrighty, thank you. See ya.
Jared Gray there talking to Phil Dark with his Cardwell Racing Supplies sticker on his overalls. Good man. There's the red Walker. That's the transport vehicle for Wayne Hemi, and in the mini stocks, one of the minis got tipped over, and we've got to stop there. Hold up. Now, we talked to Jared there about his points. He thinks he's up in the points. Mr. T.
He is up in the points. He's actually in second place in the points so far, just 2 behind Stan Hickey and Jacob Brownlees. So Jared and his partner Jason Smith, the 89C car from Christchurch, they'll be starting off the second from back row.
So it's Stan Hickey, and Stan Hickey's mate is, remind me very quickly,
Jacob Brownlees, in his first season of Superstock racing at Woodford, Glen. And you were asking me before about, do drivers move up from grades? Jacob Brownlees has moved up from mini stocks to Superstocks.
Hello, here are the points. We've got them on screen for you now. So there you go. You can have a look. Right-hand column after Heat 2. There we go. Right down the bottom, Stan Hickey and Jacob Brownlees with 90 points, and then go up a couple, 96N, Jared Gray and Jason Smith in the 89C have 88 points. And look, when they went into it, they both had 45 points each. And if you go up a little bit further on 85, you've got Bengston and Leach, they're still in contention. McCabe and Self on 87 points. Anybody else in the 80s? No. So in the 80s, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 1 on 90. So we've still got 4 teams at this stage that are getting a bit of a lead on the pack, whereas down in 17 points, and I think they're out, aren't they, Pitcher and Nordman?
That's right, neither of those cars came out for Heat 2, so they didn't score any points there. You know what Peter Field was saying in that earlier interview, John? Your finishing is everything, and look, it is, because you're going to get some points if you finish. And the guys who are at the top of half of this field, both of the pairs have finished every heat.
There we go, a look out over the pits.